Just go to reception.
This is Callum Smiles for Rebel News just outside of Heathrow Airport, where we've come to check out multiple migrant hotels. There are reportedly over 200 migrant hotels in the entire United Kingdom, but the ones at Heathrow have recently hit the headlines, so we thought we'd come and check them out for ourselves. Here's the report. Now, journalists are normally kept well away by security from these sorts of places, but I thought I'd try my luck and see what I can discover and take you on a tour of some of Britain's migrant hotels. First up on today's tour, the Crowne Plaza on Stockley Road, just a 10-minute drive from Heathrow Airport. This has been jokingly referred to online as Little Albania because apparently it is now home to several hundred Albanians who made the illegal crossing in small boats. It's important to remember that this is one of hundreds of hotels across the country being filled with migrants at the taxpayer's expense. The British taxpayer is currently paying more than £6 million a day on hotels alone. So across the country there have been local authorities up in arms saying it's not appropriate to house migrants in tourist hotspots, and that's why some might think locations like this would be perfect. It's out of the way. It's the kind of place you wouldn't stay for long, and it's a place where international residents wouldn't stand out as much. Now, the Crowne Plaza Hotel is a well-known chain of hotels, and this one in particular offers a great range of facilities, including a fitness centre, gym, conference rooms and a bar. This all sounds rather nice, but that hasn't stopped campaigners claiming the hotels aren't enough and that they are dangerous. What I found in the hotel was very typical of what you'd expect. The migrants are bored. They can't work whilst their asylum claims are processed, and the children aren't at school as there's no places. And this is on a national scale. We have a shortage of school placements, a housing crisis, an employment crisis, we're in recession, and now we have an immigration crisis. It's clearly an expensive operation. All the migrants receive 3 meals a day, are given weekly spending allowances, and free accommodation. There's 24/7 security who need to act as translators sometimes, so we're in an odd situation where newly arrived immigrants are working as security guards guarding illegal migrants whilst their asylum applications are processed. Hotels are not meant for permanent living, so the building has quickly become dirty and slum-like. Clothing hangs from windows, and there are issues with rubbish disposal and a general overcrowded mustiness throughout. So now that we've left the Crowne Plaza Hotel, just 10 minutes down the road outside of Heathrow Airport is the Atrium Hotel. You might even recognise some of the viral footage from the Atrium Hotel, which the current guests have put on Snapchat, which showed hundreds of men loitering in the Atrium car park. This hotel has been commandeered by the UK government until April 2024 at the very earliest, at the cost of the UK taxpayer. Fortunately, just like the Crowne Plaza Hotel, we managed to get inside this one and have a good look around. Here's the footage. Walking into the hotel, I noticed lots of migrants hanging out in the lobby talking to what appeared to be immigration staff. The migrants can come and go freely whilst their asylum applications are processed, so some spend the day relaxing in the hotel, whereas others freely roam the local area.
So getting into the Atrium Hotel was quite easy, and now we're in, all we've seen are young men, single and bored. The security don't really seem to be doing much, the conditions aren't. The hotel is nice, but it has become starting to look derelict. There's rubbish across all the corridors. We've seen a trail of blood going down the stairs. Every single floor has security personnel at the God knows what cost of the taxpayer. There's laundry on every floor. We've seen mountains of laundry. There's food, there are bags of food outside of every door. We don't know how much the catering here is costing, but we know they're getting 3 meals a day. We've seen bags of food outside of doors. Often the food's even going to waste. But one thing we do know is that the government has actually commandeered this one particular hotel until April 2024 at the earliest. So what we know is that there are hundreds of men in this building waiting for their asylum process to be completed, which could take years. And we have more and more coming each week. As we've seen this year alone, we've had over 40,000. Last year it was around 20,000. That was just the illegals we knew about. And that's going to be costing the taxpayer an extremely high amount, and it's only going to grow.
What I've shown you today are just two of more than 200 hotels being used to house young male migrants around the country. On this map, it shows some of the hotels being used to house migrants that we know of. The Daily Mail ran an article in November. This article was interesting because it mentioned many recent incidents around the migrant hotel situation. It mentions at the Holiday Inn in Colchester, 2 migrants staged a rooftop protest which was recorded on video and went viral online. In the video, the men are shouting in Urdu, the language used by Pakistanis. There's been questions about security. In Essex, at the 4-star Great Hallingbury Manor, which has been taken over to house 50 male migrants aged under 40 from North Africa, with 2 staff looking after them, according to locals. This Tudor-style property is now closed to the public because it's housing North African migrants on the taxpayers' expense. In Rotherham, local residents have complained about the noise coming from the Holiday Inn Express, which is being used to house migrants. Reports of loud music late into the night and groups of men playing football till all hours of the night. One local resident called for a curfew because the migrants are disturbing the children's sleep. The Stoke Rochford Hall, advertised as a luxurious Victorian mansion, decided to take up the lucrative government offer to house migrants and then cancelled pre-booking and even cancelling people's wedding bookings according to TripAdvisor reviews. In Waltham Forest, East London, a 39-year-old migrant was arrested on suspicion of raping a 13-year-old boy, who was then released on bail and has since disappeared. This incident happened at a migrant hotel housing 450 migrants and 150 of them being children. However, it's not just locals complaining with the current situation. The migrants themselves are complaining about hotel living. Only a few days ago, the Russ Hill Hotel near Gatwick Airport had unpleasant scenes when a large group of migrants living there were upset about their conditions and began to cause disturbances in the hotel. In other areas, similar complaints are being made by the migrants. In Bristol, a group of migrants living at the Holiday Inn near the airport have said they are cut off from shops, people and asylum seekers' services. The 100 young men from Sudan, Eritrea, Iran, Iraq, Syria and Somalia have to take buses into the city for medical or legal appointments. With the situation deteriorating across the country and large numbers expected to arrive in the coming months, it appears as though the British immigration system is in tatters and the government are reluctant to address the issue. The Home Office admitted using hotels to house migrants was unacceptable and that it was a short-term solution. But what is the long-term solution? So today has been both eye-opening and concerning. Eye-opening because of the sheer scale of this mass migration crisis, and concerning because of the sheer scale of this mass migration crisis. After seeing only 2 hotels today, with lots and lots of young men, this is costing the UK taxpayer over £6 million per day in housing alone. And that doesn't account for things like allowances, catering, security, and many other expenses. So this has been Callum Smiles in Heathrow after seeing 2 hotels for Rebel News. See you next time. Covering the migrant crisis doesn't come cheap. So if you're interested in our reports and value our honest journalism, please head over to migrantreports.co.uk and help where you can. Thank you.